I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Do we have a representative from Conticelli?
Yes. Tom Ludgate here for the Conticelli Genesis plan, we're calling it. And this is right in between Honda and Hyundai. Several months ago, a building was torn down. This is going in a spot. And it's a new Genesis showroom. So this is Hyundai where the additional service areas have been constructed. And this is the new Genesis. And behind Genesis is what I call the dealer detailing area. That building stays. Pretty simple. The entrances stay the same. This building, I'll put the sheet here to a better view. There's a customer drop-off for service, where then the service tech will take it out and over to the new service center. So the Genesis cars still get serviced at the Hyundai Center. And there is a customer new car area where if you buy a new car, they have it in this little spot for you. So, and then the rest of the showroom and offices. So just kind of the completion of the site. It's tying into the same public water, public sewer. There's a new storm sewer system being proposed. There's a good deal of landscaping being proposed. This is landscaped islands throughout the new parking area, and there's landscaping somewhat flanking the building. And we have a few waivers that are included on Tim's letter. Sidewalks along the street frontage. I did confirm that the county project includes sidewalks along this part of the frontage. So we're asking for a waiver because the county's doing it. Landscape plan not being signed by a landscape architect. The landscape is pretty simple. We're asking it just be waived. Also, the street trees not being planted, but they haven't been on the other dealerships. And then we are asking that any kind of open space be a fee be provided instead of the actual open space. And that's it. I think Tim's letter is not very extensive. The traffic engineer, I think all his comments were addressed. So I think it's really, there's not even that many, if any, open comments right now from the various staff. I don't think there's any township comments.
If anything, it's very minimal what's left. Maybe just notes on the plan.
Right.
All right. Anything else?
That's it.
Lonnie?
For 2 points of clarification. One, when you talk to the county, did they give you a time frame on when the sidewalks are going to put in?
No, sorry. I don't think they'll ever, tie down themselves with a time frame.
So we don't know actually when they're going to be constructed?
No.
Okay. And then the other thing was, are there any street trees along frontage of Ridge Plank for any of your properties?
I don't believe so, no.
No, they're not.
No, we're not, is there? No.
On either side.
On either side of the ridge? Okay,
No.
that's all.
That's what I'm aware of. No.
Bert? Okay. Monica?
No question.
I'm just trying to confirm the parcel. Is this 9.52 acres? Is that by county records? The parcel on top. Identify
I'll
which
let you
one.
know in just a second. In that range, yeah. 419 some odd thousand square feet.
I'm good. I'm fine.
Okay. So at this point in time, the county stated they'll place sidewalks in, but that's a date unknown.
Correct.
Okay. Now, was there a landscaping submission to the township's landscape architect consultant?
Yes, I understand now that Woodrow is a landscape consultant.
We have
Okay.
somebody in our office that's
Got
doing
it.
it for us.
Okay. And everything's will comply, and
Yep.
there's no issues
Yep.
with that? Okay, good. Just wanted to make sure that was there. The building this is replacing, is the square footage approximately the same?
This one's definitely larger,
Yeah.
and I think primarily because it has those two flanking areas, one for customer drop-off, one for picking up a new car. But besides that, it's relatively the same.
Okay.
It's
So-
not quite as long, it's wider than the other one, but it's shallower than the other.
Okay. Because I thought square footage was,
It's pretty close.
yeah.
Because what's happening is it is wider.
Right.
But we're 40 feet from the other building, and
Right.
before that building, they were attached.
Right,
They were
exactly.
one building. so
Exactly. So with that space
it
in
probably
between.
offsets each other.
And, you know, to your point, a little more with the overcroppings
Right.
and
Yeah.
with the throughput there. Okay. That's there. That's there. Do you have anything? Okay. All right. Is anyone in the audience in favor of the application? Is anyone in the audience opposed to the application? Hearing none, do we have a motion? Do you second, Tony?
Sure.
Seconds. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Got to give you a gap.
It's all right.
Where is-
I'm okay. It's okay. It's all good. Do we have an applicant for Home Depot?
Good evening.
Evening.
So we are here requesting relief from the parking spaces to utilize the area for outdoor storage.
State your name for the record, please.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Jennifer Altman, I am with Kimley Horn, civil engineer. We have the store manager with us this evening.
My name is Collins, Polly Watson.
The Home Depot store manager?
Yes. So as you can see, we've marked the areas on that plan that can show the permanent outdoor storage of the fencing panels. You can see the outdoor storage for the sheds in the blue, and then in the pink color is the permanent outdoor storage for mulch, soil, and live goods. That would be planting, an extension of the garden center.
Do you have anything else to present?
No, I just brought in an aerial as well, just in case we wanted to see that. If, are you understanding the location of the Home Depot? It's Allenwood Road.
No.
We need to also take a look at the actual location of the site, just to be clear on what we're hearing. So you've got your vegetated buffer in the back. Thank you. And then your entrance over here.
Okay. Anything else at this time?
No, open it up to some questions.
Lonnie?
Pass to Joel.
Pass the name?
We will get there.
I don't have any, the issue is, this reduction in parking is the township ordinance for parking of the center,
Right.
not just the facility of Home Depot. So
Correct.
I don't really have any engineering comments concerning what the applicant's proposing to do. So the mulch, is that just going to be like mulched area? Is that just going to be,
The idea around it is to provide an experience where customers can pick it up.
yeah, I understand, but like how is it going to be encapsulated or is it just going to be on the ground?
Enclosed, yeah.
Is it enclosed or on the ground?
It was going to be on the ground.
So when it rains, the runoff from the mulch pile goes into the inlets and stuff?
They're bag mulch.
Oh, bag mulch.
Yeah, they're bagged
I'm
in
sorry,
public
to
on
clarify,
pallets.
yeah,
I thought it was like
mulch.
a pile of mulch.
No, it's not piled. No.
So
It's to sell through bag
mulch.
mulch. Same thing with fence panels. It wouldn't be a runoff of any of that material into the parking lot or sewers.
Fence panels, or fence panels,
Like a 6-foot fence panel that would install a fence around your yard.
Okay.
Yeah.
so fencing.
It's mostly, it's only wood fence panels. There wouldn't be vinyl or anything.
Yeah, as
inside.
long as the mulch is
It's bad.
not,
Contained.
unbagged or open aired, then I don't have any questions.
Thank you, sir. Vern?
I don't really have any questions.
Okay, sir. Monica?
Will you still have your, like, minimum required number of parking spaces for the site?
No, so the required would be 1668. That's the number noted on the plan. And we would end up with 1627. So required by code per square footage would be that 1668 number. But we can speak to the fact about that the area is overparked. They currently have quite a bit of vacancy within their parcel.
Yeah, at this point, there's no one that parks the back half of the lot. We have landlord that keeps salt trucks, those type of things as well on the lot.
Is it overparked in the areas where you're providing the bag mulch and the fencing?
No.
No, people park there because they're prime parking spaces.
Right, and the idea is to have that where customer can pick it up at the front of the store and not at the back of the store, yeah.
Yeah, you can
There's that
actually-
much demand for that product that you're willing to give up these prime parking spaces for the convenience of the customers every time this?
I think it
Well, it's
enhances.
hand in hand, right? So a convenience of an experience to that customer as well. So right now, the only mulch that we sell in a bag is in the back of the garden center. So that customer would have to load it, or we'd load it onto a cart, pull it all the way up front to a register, take those 10 bags out front, load them again. Instead, we're trying to circumvent that a little bit and have that experience at the front. So the customer pays at a register, we pull up, and we have somebody at that spot load those bags of mulch and try to stay down on wear.
We've never had them
So-
do it for you? It's really
So
convenient.
it's your experience and that the demand is such that you're doing that, that's,
And I
there's that
think
much
the oth-
demand for bag mulch that you're gonna have an outdoor service.
And I think that's the other thing is we're in the mid-Atlantic, knowing that in the Northeast, it is not a easy time on of weather, right?
Yeah.
It is a demand of March to July, essentially, of,
Yeah, so the more
That's
we
ramped
talk
up.
this out, the more I'm getting confused, because that's a high traffic area too, right? You have a lot of
Yeah,
customers.
Going to
and-
BJ's.
Plus customers and contractors coming into that area, right?
Where's your contractor?
contractor is on the other side of the pickup. So contractor pickup is not anywhere near there to be.
Oh, contractor with that side.
Okay. Correct.
So that's at the far end.
Yep.
So that activity then would be impacted by people maybe using
This lane would still remain open for.
the lane. Oh,
Yes.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah.
So you'd still be able to come up and down and turn into and out of. It would be strictly to pick up, load your vehicle, and move on.
And it is locked at night.
I'm sorry?
The mulch out front.
The shed.
Oh, the sheds are display sheds.
Displays.
Display
That would
sheds.
be.
So one that you would purchase.
Yeah, so I guess my biggest concern is by doing this in a public space, not in the store, what is the impact to the pedestrian traffic and the traveling vehicular traffic in and around that activity? That would be my biggest concern.
Understood.
Would you say that you have an employee representative there when they would be loading their
Yep.
vehicles?
Well, tell us how it works. Like when I go in the store, I want a bag of mulch. Do I go to where the mulch bags are and lift it up and take it into the store? Or do I
Correct.
go into the store and get a customer representative I pay for the mulch and then he puts it in my car?
In this scenario, it would be, you would go to any register, it doesn't matter if it's the garden center, self-checkout, anywhere. You would purchase the mulch, and we would have somebody staged outside.
Okay.
You would go to your car wherever you parked,
Uh-huh.
pull up, and we would load the mulch into your car. That is the concept behind it, of why we wanted to have it out front there.
Okay.
Because currently, we have it in the back of the garden center.
Yeah.
And it is creating even more, like you said, customer flow it's bottlenecking inside the store.
Can you also order online and be able to pull up and?
Currently, we do not.
Oh.
That's a possibility if that would be, yes.
Have any other Home Depot stores done this?
Absolutely.
Where?
So neighboring stores, I have the West Norton store currently does it, which is there. They have that with Tornetta. Trying to think of who else.
The Willow Grove.
Willow Grove
The Willow Grove
does.
store does it. I've experienced it.
King of
myself.
Prussia.
All right.
So, and in addition, this would be somewhat seasonal,
Yep.
correct? So,
And that's the idea is typically for Home Depot, the garden season runs from that beginning of March to 4th of July, and then it would come back out of the lot. So it's not necessarily needed
Okay.
full year round.
this one.
Uh-huh.
So we would not have mulch out in the front parking lot in November or December, or icy conditions, it would not be out there.
Okay.
Anything like that, or plowing or anything like that. It's kind of a seasonal that we're trying to match the demand and not have people or customer flow continue to load mulch when we can do that for them, make it easier on everybody.
Gotcha. All right, that's, I guess it's an industry concept now that it's,
Yeah, I think you're
Seems
right.
odd to me, but
COVID kind of
okay.
changed that instead of I can have my car pulled up and we just take care of it.
Thank you, sir.
sorry.
You're all good. No, appreciate it, Lonnie. Thanks for starting that discussion. Hernan, do you have anything?
No,
Okay. Thank you, sir. Monica?
Okay, so the pink is the temporary. Would the blue and the green be permanent year-round?
So this
It says
is
permanent.
sheds for display purposes. Yeah, so they would be asking for the reduction of those spaces permanently to use them when necessary, but where you're seeing the color-coded, the pink would only be for an extension of that garden center with soils, mulch, and whatever. So chances are those pink spaces would not be utilized year-round for that storage.
We wouldn't have the product to put there either.
Right, the sheds and the fencing panels would be there, correct?
Okay, so it's just more, the word permanent is just for your purposes of getting approvals, but,
Correct, for the purposes of the relief from the parking spaces, yes.
but those parking spaces wouldn't be like permanently altered, they're still gonna be there.
Correct.
Correct, we will not be removing any striping or anything.
Yep.
And then, so how would the person outside know that the person that wants mulch paid for it?
We do receipt checking. So essentially, if the customer pays, they would come out with their receipt. To be honest, we just look at time, date, and quantities of what products. We keep only top sellers out there with what we would do. We wouldn't keep every flavor of mulch out there. We'd keep the black mulch, topsoil, garden soil, the ones that we put on a sale or an ad. Those would be the ones that we would put out front.
Yeah,
And essentially,
people-
we're just checking with a red marker is how we do that process.
I would say people often buy quite a few,
Yeah.
30, 40 bags at a time. And then that alleviates the pressure on the customer to load that. Otherwise, they would be up in the front of the store, bringing their car up there and trying to load it directly from the garden center.
And we've seen that in working with our partners with the fire marshal. That's something that we have to police all the time right now, is that they are parking on the front apron where the fire lane is and not allowing customers to walk or have 4 feet on the sides to get across the parking. And that's the other idea, is to alleviate some of that congestion across the front.
Okay.
Thank you. Tony?
Would you be creating that aisle then that's there? I mean, if someone's not utilizing these, picking up mulch or anything else, they can get stuck there waiting for someone to load their car though, right?
Correct, I guess theoretically, yes,
Yeah.
but I would assume how quickly there's going to be a person there that turns that around very quickly.
Okay, you're gonna have someone out there constantly, and that seems like,
It's either they're there or they stand in the mulch aisle constantly and load 30, 40 bags. So it's just moving the labor that's already in the store. You know what I mean? Where they're in
yeah,
the
I
back of the
understand, I'm
garden
just,
center with the
I mean, that's a really congested corner there, that's the entrance to BJ's right here. And this concrete walk that you said sidewalk, you've got wheelbarrows out there now. You've got flowers out there during the holidays. This is all filled, you have product out here.
Right.
On the sidewalk.
Yeah, when
To
we
begin
work with the fire marshal, he made us very clear of understanding that it has to be a 4-foot walkway.
Okay.
Yeah, and
So we have
then,
not violated any of that.
No, I'm just saying that it gets congested during the seasonal time you're talking about.
Absolutely.
Okay.
sure, but you would say that congestion now, the garden center is here, correct?
Yep.
So
Sure,
your
across.
congestion now, people would be, they're backing up here in the main aisle.
Right, but I was there today, and you've got a stack of wheelbarrows right here, right in
Yep.
front. Okay.
Yeah, that's a little bit further down, but you're
Yes,
correct.
it's further down, that's what I mean. It's not in front of the garden center.
It's near the front door, yes.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a congested area. People park in those locations to go into BJ's, I know that.
People get angry when they
Well, and you can't put it too far away because you got to monitor that.
Yeah. I think the other thing that we see a lot of the congestion is in between the two stores, the parking spots there.
Right. Oh, that's another story.
Yes.
Is there going to be any definition to this area? Is there going to be walls, fencing, anything to delineate the
Not
boundaries of it?
planned. The other stores that have done it have done just pallets of mulch because they are a blocky product. We only would open the pallet that we are shopping from or loading from. So you'd have more or less a built wall with a pallet of mulch that's about this tall and 4 foot wide.
I would think it'd be easier to reconfigure your store than to go into the parking lot like that. I don't know. I mean, you said, I understand it's in the back of the store, but can't you reconfigure it to the front of the store, the product? I mean,
It's unfortunate of the footprint of the store remains the same, but the business continues to grow, and I think that's what we're trying to figure out is working in conjunction with our partners in the township and the community is what works best.
And
Like
you
I
would
said,
still
it's a-
have that backing up in the front of the store if you were coming up and pulling up in the front.
we have that now. I mean, there's loading down here
Right.
further down.
Constantly.
Right.
And that's what we're trying to help alleviate to that.
Okay, I'm fine.
Thank you, sir. What did the other businesses say when you brought this plan to them, since this is in the business condominium district?
So we had a approval from the condominium association, that's from the landlord of the association that says that they were approved to do this outdoor storage.
That's the landlord. I'm asking about the other businesses because all the other businesses share the parking and they could have constraints or asks for the parking themselves, which would also diminish parking. So part of the reason everyone has so much parking is because it's everything together.
Correct. So I can only speak that we have a statement from Lincoln Property Company, which is the ownership of that group,
Yes.
that approved, the proposal for the storage was approved. I have not, I can't speak to BJ's or the other sites, but we have Kelly Marriott, the assistant vice president from that property group, stated that it is, it's an approved use.
Yeah, I'm sure. I don't doubt that at all. But,
Yeah.
that's not how this area is considered.
Sure.
This area focused very much on the business condominium concept to bring everything in, and that means everything needs to be considered together. So we can't really do that, okay? Just like BJ's, they've come in a few times for some similar reasons, and Home Depot's been in for some similar reasons in the past to do different things on the side of the store, on the front of the store. BJ's wanted to put gas station in previously, things of that nature. And everyone actually needs to agree, not just the property owner, I understand that, but also from a business perspective, because we can't have this come in and then other things come in, and then we're diminishing the parking, and then if one of these tenants leave and someone else comes in who needs that parking, we've now diminished all that. So as a condominium district, for lack of a better term, that's how we have to view this, and that's how we have to consider it.
Sure. The parking lot itself is owned by Lincoln Property Company, and then each store is individually owned.
Each store is
Yeah.
individually owned, correct?
Correct. So they
Absolutely.
do have ownership over, the Liberty Property has ownership over the parking lot.
Yes, they do. But that's not the question before us, and that's not the consideration before us. Because, as you stated, that's already there, that's already done, and there aren't any questions there. The questions are involved with how to utilize that in a communal sense, and then keep it equitable for everybody, and not have a line out tomorrow, well, they got this,
Understood.
I want that,
Yeah.
and we need to prevent that
Yeah,
from a
absolutely.
township perspective.
So there's no disturbance or land development, obviously, with this. Yes, just, like we
Absolutely.
said, we would leave the parking stripe, so.
Certainly. Joel?
Yeah, so I talked to you previously on the phone today.
Yes.
The staff has some concerns. Some might be minor, some seem to be a little bit bigger. So I'll read those off.
Okay.
And answers to these don't have to necessarily be tonight, just
Sure.
things to consider. So One of the concerns is how will the sheds be secured? Fear of them blowing away.
Okay.
Right. As well as to prevent entry when nobody's there.
Understood.
Did you have any sheds on the property up by in the garden center?
No.
No, okay.
No, not over the years, yeah.
Okay.
One thing which I believe this plan is the old original plan that you guys might just have the PDF of, not necessarily the editable file.
Correct.
So one of the concerns is that it actually mentions that fire lane is a loading zone. Fire marshal does not want a plan to get approved that says loading zone.
Understood.
Okay. Oh, so this is a fire lane here?
Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, it's striped as fire lane at the store, but
Correct.
understood what you're
He
saying.
doesn't want
Yeah.
a plan to come by the township, get approved by.
Yep, makes sense. Sure.
Understood,
And
right.
it says loading zone.
Okay, so we would, I mean, I don't think we would have access to that original file.
Right, so what I mentioned to him is that the zoning hearing board, if the variance is given, it is deemed on the testimony given at that time.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So there will have to be testimony there that, yes, this will not be a loading zone.
Yeah, we've seen issues like that previously with old site plans, and we can note it on the actual site plan that this is
Yeah, that too, maybe added
Yeah.
in.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Another issue is the height of the products that you're going to be storing there. So you said the mulch will be roughly this tall?
Yep, about this tall.
Well, that could obscure a small car coming around the turn.
Okay.
People, might not see a small car there, make that turn, now there's an accident.
Understood, and I think what the response that we would have about that is mulch would be that high, but if we put soils out there, that's what we would lead nearest to the
Okay, and we
curb.
talked about that in the office today.
Yeah, that we would
Put
lead
the
with
small-
Yeah,
that.
to
Those
not
areas
block
are
any
this
line
high.
of sight.
Yeah.
So we would not cause any concerns around, like you said, congestion or turning of that at the front there.
Consider moving the products further out in the parking lot. I mentioned that, obviously you guys want to keep it close for security reasons. Again, so this number 5, same thing that Lonnie was saying, you're taking spots away from customers that, that convenience of parking close, which is food for thought. And big one is, the fire marshal really does not like the fact that those drive aisles will now be used as a loading zone.
Okay.
If you have cars parked there, congested up, how does an emergency vehicle get through?
And I think that's what we keep coming back to is what we see consistently with that season is we have cars that are loading across the front in those fire lane. And that's
Correct.
specific.
Right.
And even as much as we try to say you can't do that,
Yeah.
and I think that's what we're trying to do is alleviate that and bring that away from the building, that emergency vehicles could be present if needed. And that would be in that drive lane essentially instead of across the front of the building.
And I would say that it would still be open to two-way traffic. We would
Yeah.
not be blocking both lanes at the same time. It would be,
Correct.
you'd have a one-way for pickup, right? So you'd come in and you would pick up this way, and then you can come right out. So you'd still have a lane that was open.
Okay. So that's, from my understanding, our attorneys for the zoning hearing board will be in touch to make sure that there's common ground at least found with these concerns. And I'll send this to you guys.
Sure.
And depending on that common ground found, it is possible that the council sends opposition to the zoning hearing board.
Thank you for that. So just wanted to confirm you want to proceed to a recommendation?
Correct.
Okay. I'm going to recommend that we not approve the request as filed for the discussion mentioned, an open letter from the township that zoning hearing board would like to have resolved. Also for the business condominium district, this actually would raise more complications, I think, for existing parcels than it would solve. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor of not approving the plan as submitted signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Thank you very much.
Can I ask a quick question? So would they accept a letter of no objection from the
That's something to consider, but everything needs to be worked together. So if someone else comes in with something else, we need to look at that and look at current uses and look at future uses of the property as well to try to make that consideration, which makes it a challenge.
Okay.
To your point, it's not a single parcel where things can be done perhaps a little differently. And they spend a lot of time and effort making that a business condominium region to bring everything in, and then everyone treated it as though it was a single parcel, and they just don't match.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Certainly. We have a review of minutes. Don't know if there's any questions or
I
concerns.
looked at them, I didn't have any questions.
Yeah, I didn't either. And everybody was here. Do we have a motion?
Approve minutes?
Do we have a second?
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you very much.